We honestly wish we did not have to leave. But yes, we have to be here. We've got to move into the topics of the day, of the week. And it's all been about the Ghana Football Association and the matters arising. I'm Gary Al Smith, Hans Mensah.
You got to move if you're ready or not. Give it all that you got.
Hans Mensah is here with me to look at the disqualification of Masai Palmer from the GFA elections. We treated it a bit on Ghana Connect, but to do a bit of holistic analysis on what it means and the filler behind the disqualification, we try and give you the scoop as we know it.
If you're ready or not, give it all that you got. Turn it up now, you got to move. Get your chance to fly with your head held high. Right about now, you got to move. Don't let this moment pass you by. This is your time, you got to move. If you're ready or not, give it all that you got. Turn it up now, you got to move. Got to move if you're ready or not. Give it all that you got. Turn it up now. You got to move. Get your chance to fly with your head held high. Right about now. You got to move. Don't let this moment pass you by. This is your time. You got to move. If you're ready or not. Give it all that you got. You got to.
For you to institutionalize measures that will get them active. You don't create a system and you expect the system to re-originate itself and work naturally. There will be the need for you to put the dots on the I's and cross the T's. So how do we intend to let it work? We have licenses being issued. IFA will have to move all the way from Balaga to Accra and have their licenses processed. Is that the way we want things to go? The club has to pay for, let's say, yellow cards or questionable offense. That person will have to move all the way to Accra. Will it not be prime and proper for the IFA to receive something of this nature and later on remit the cash to the FA? And to me, the beauty of it is that with regard to the licensing, the moment they finish with the process, IFA keeps 40% and they remit 60% of the processing fee to the headquarters. Ghana, it may interest you to know that we've never assessed what we call the investment capital aspect of the FIFA Forward program. We always make do with the recurrent aspect where we are giving about $550,000. Yet on annual basis, we are losing $750. Now it's moved from 1.250 to what? To $1.5 million on annual basis. On annual basis. So all these things will have to be done to more or less advance the course of football.
I don't think so.
Why?
In the sense that the Article 17.2 of the FIFA statutes says very clear that the government cannot meddle in football. If that is the case, any initiative, any reforms must emanate from football people. So why would you engage yourself in an exercise in futility?
But not to cut you, but government is acting on the interest of the people of Ghana, and football is played for the people of Ghana. So if people are saying that we don't want this and government is doing, you don't think that is right?
Yeah, Benedict, as a football pundit, I know for a fact that loyalty of supporters is very crucial. Man U is what it is because of its support base. Even as Antikoto, locally or House of Folk, it's because of the support base. So you cannot do football without support. But people should also begin to understand the basic fact that it's now privately run. If the government was giving the FA subvention, paying our...
Last week at the Kotoka International.
All right, so that's a few sound bites of Wilfred Osei, the man who has been disqualified from the GFA election. Let's go on to the phone line and speak to his campaign strategist and find out what's happening in that camp right now. Ebuapia, you are on Top Story. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Good evening, Gary. And let me first apologize to your listeners because it is true I'm supposed to be in the studio now, but we are involved in some strategic meetings and that has made me impossible. So let me apologize once again for my inability to be in the studio. Okay. But I'm happy to be with you on Joy.
No problem. When we spoke about an hour and 30 minutes ago, you were, processing the news and you were speaking about those who love your candidates, your presidential hopeful. You were asking them to be calm and also to assure people that your team was going to appeal after discussions. Has anything changed since we spoke an hour and 30 minutes
Oh,
ago?
we have assembled the best legal team that is available to us. They are still in the meeting. Actually, I've just had to ask permission to attend to your call because we had agreed for me to be in the studio. And that's why I'm speaking to you. But the meeting is ongoing. There are several avenues available to us, and I can assure you and your cherished listeners, we'll go at the full length. Everything available to us will be exhausted. We believe that this is selective justice. We believe that Kofi Amwa wants a stay. He just wants to rabble around the system. He just wants something to be done for him to extend his mandate. And we are decided to remain calm and not be provoked by his provocation. He's been provoking us for some time now, but we are going to still remain calm as we've asked our listeners to remain calm. Our lawyers will definitely respond to him and what he has done.
Right. I'm interested in that part that you just spoke of, provocation. What sort of provocation?
Gary, I think you're one of the finest journalists we have in this country, and you realize that the football people on the day of Congress could have easily asked for us to receive the statutes and study them before we go ahead, right?
Yes.
You don't approve a statute that you have not read through. Overnight, they made several changes, but because in tree balance, we'll say that football come there, so we allowed that to go through, so that the good people of Ghana can still get their football back. Thereafter, on his own, he decided to take portions of the statutes out to allow people who have nothing to do with association football to contest. How can you bring a lawyer from the UK who is not called to the Ghana Bar to come and practice in Ghana and lead the Ghana Bar Association? It's only in Kofi Amwa's world. There's something wrong with that gentleman.
Which lawyer are you talking about?
I'm talking about Kofi Amwa.
Okay.
I'm saying that on his own, he expunged parts of our statutes, thereby allowing people who Congress have not approved. Because if you wanted this particular clause to be taken out, in Congress, you could have just tabled that motion and look, we think that this idea of allowing people who have nothing to do with association football to contest is a good idea, and therefore you bring it before Congress and it is passed. There's nothing wrong with that idea. I personally see nothing wrong in allowing people to contest, but Congress has to approve it. It's association football. So that's the second provocation the mandate. We didn't say anything. Then we continued to the elections. You remember that there was a deadline for the elections for submissions. Do you remember?
I do.
Then on his own, he extends again. The third provocation. So look, every week the guy is looking for trouble. And this time we'll give him the trouble he wants. I can assure him we are calm, but we are not going to take it lightly at all. Because what is done is selective justice. It's deliberate. Why would you have 7 candidates go through? Look, if we request for income for the proceedings of the veterans, then we will know what each candidate was asked and why you passed this person and why you didn't pass that person. We'll get to that level.
You think there's an agenda to sideline your candidate?
If you look at Kofi Amwa's attitude, that of somebody who is suffering from dementia, he doesn't care for what he's doing. He's just trying to provoke us. That's all he's trying to do. But we will remain calm and ask all our supporters to also remain calm at this particular juncture as our legal team takes through. But it's very annoying. It's deliberately done. It's selective justice. It's never done anywhere in the country where you would have such a situation happen. What is Mr. Palmer's wrong? In any case, if you say that Tema Youth, let's say for this discussion, Tema Youth owns the GFA. What has Tema Youth got to do with Mr. Palmer? Are you not aware that Olympics owned the Ghana Football Association during the Gordon Atram transfer for a couple of years? Over 15 years? Or you don't remember that Gordon Atram case?
Yes.
And finally, Congress had to take it out. So he's suffering from dementia. There's something wrong with him. It is deliberate, that guy, what he has done. And because they are very wonderful people on that vetting committee, it will be premature to say anything until we find out in detail what the vetting committee actually passed on to the normalization.
Right. You know, because I'm not well versed in company law and other related subjects, I did not want to, as it were, put you on your toes regarding what you just said, something you said about Osei Palmer, and Tema Youth. If Tema Youth owes the GFA, what is it going to do with Osei Palmer? I don't know if per the procedures of
I'm saying that. You see, we believe that particular article has not been breached.
Okay.
But we are saying that in the worst case scenario,
assuming it was even breached,
we had breached it.
It is not Palmer who breached it, but Tema Youth.
Exactly. And I'm saying that it was the company, Tema Youth, is different from the person, Osei Palmer. Otherwise, you will say that if somebody does something, you see, then that's why I'm calling for the proceedings.
Yes, because you see, to my mind, if Mr. Osei Kweku signed the documents for the transfer and all those things, then you can hold him liable. But if it was somebody else, then at least you have a point. I don't know that for a fact. That's why I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. That you see, Gary,
you don't think
for us to go into these details.
Sure.
But for the benefit of our listeners, this is a man who has deliberately done what he has done. One key reason, he's enjoying the $6,500. He does not want to go. And so whatever he will do to extend that mandate, he will do it. But we will not grant him that wish. He will go. But by any means possible, he will go.
Do you think? Yes, Hans is also here. I want to ask you a few questions.
Hello.
Does Tim Palmer think that Dr. Kofi Amwa, you have already said on record right now that he wants an extension to his mandate as NC boss? Does Tim Palmer think that your team was treated unfairly, and that if such rigorous procedures were also given to or extended to some of the other candidates, they would have also fallen foul?
Gary, I think you are the best judge. I think, Gary, the people of Ghana look up to you as a journalist, and they expect the best from you. So I think you are in the best position to answer this. And so the good people of Ghana are listening to you.
Well, you know what is being said in your team.
I think that in a nutshell, it's a laughable thing that has happened with regard to the conduct of. It's a very disappointing conduct by the Normalization Committee. Number one, the Parliament of Ghana, when people are vetted, it's in camera.
Yes.
So why did they choose to do it the way they did? Number two, is it legal to have a vetting committee in our statute? It's not legal.
In the GFA statute?
Yes, it's not there. But again, you see, at every stage when you try to make an impediment, we say, okay, let it go. Until the criminal is there. You see, he's a pampered rat. Pampered rat, actually. Every step of the way, he pushes something there, and we try to let it go. So he thinks he can get away with everything. But I can assure the people of Ghana, Dr. Kofi Amwa will not get away with this one. We will fight him with every legal venue available to us. You know what it is with the CAS case? And this is nothing new to us. We are calm, we are composed, and we will study it. We have the weekend to do what we have to do. Do you remember that this same gentleman, at a point, said that there was no avenue for appeal, if you remember?
Yes.
Then how come he said you can appeal? You see the provocations I was talking to you about? He changes the rules every 3 or 4 days. There's something wrong with him. I don't know what is it, but there's something wrong with him. Every single week, he would tamper and tinker with the rules.
Let me just say that the statement from the GFA and the Normalization Committee was signed by Nao Dofole, not Dr. Kofi Amwa.
Yeah, but they are on the election committee together. As for the woman, she's a woman, and we're all born by women, so let's spare her. Let's deal with Dr. Kofi Amwa. He's the one in charge.
No, Ebo, it is her signature. It is not she's a woman matter. It is her signature. If you want,
not the head.
Yes, but it is her signature. She wrote the letter to your team, not Dr. Kofi Amwa.
But the ultimate responsibility is Dr. Kofi Amwa.
If you have to tackle somebody right now, by whose hand are you going to hold responsible? It is not Dr. Kofi Amwa.
Oh, Gary, I know you are very intelligent.
No, she signed the document. I just want to put it to you that she signed the document.
Gary, and I put it to you back that I'm holding Dr. Kofi Amwa responsible, not
okay, her. All right, fine. Hans is here.
Hello,
Hans here. Thank you very much. Now, I mean,
Hey Hans, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm fine. My candidate is in good spirit.
Right.
Everybody is in good spirit.
Glad to know that. Now, this whole exercise that has culminated in the disqualification of your candidate is geared towards a particular goal. That's to reform Ghana football, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now, you've just alleged here that Dr. Amoah arbitrarily has, made decisions over the period. Decisions that you said nothing about, nobody raised issues with. Why should anybody take you serious this time around? Since when he was going about, arbitrarily making some of these changes, you kept quiet. Is it not that because this time around his decision, supposed decision, if you like, goes against your candidate, that you are crying wolf?
Oh, Hans, what you must understand is that what happened in number 12 touched the people of Ghana. And therefore, when you are dealing with the people of Ghana, you must be circumspect. And that is why the football people chose not to litigate and allow the process to go through. Not because we were scared, but we had enough of the delay. See, the more when two elephants fight, is the ant that suffers. So the players that are involved, people who sell at the stadium, people whose investment are in football, emotionally, financially, were being drained. So that was the reason why we allowed it to pass, but not because we were scared of him.
But it was an illegality from what you are describing. He was not supposed to have done those things.
Exactly. But I'm saying that, Hans.
So why did you allow it to stand?
These are the reasons, because we factored in the fact that these people are suffering. If, let's say, the verdict has come out and about 4 or 5 people have been disqualified, we are good to go. But when you see that one person out of the lot, and there are other people who have equally worse cars than us have gone through, it's selective justice.
And there's a sense I get from the response that you are giving, that if an illegality will be committed and it doesn't affect you directly, so long as it takes you a step, exactly, everybody goes, you're okay. But if it affects you, then you're going to respond.
Oh, Hans, again, I told you that because of what has happened, the people of Ghana are very hurt. In that spirit of cooperation, in that spirit of respect to the 12th man, it was incumbent on us to be sensitive to that. And that is why we kept allowing this to go on. Not because we couldn't litigate, but you see, when you step on somebody's toe for a long time, at a point the person responds. And that's why we are responding now.
Finally, once you are done with this appeal, whether it is successful or not, will you go back and pursue the allegations that you've made on Dr. Kofi Amoah?
Which allegations?
On arbitrarily making certain decisions, because for all intents and purposes, he was not supposed to have made decisions on his own. Like you said, he was supposed to have gone through Congress. And so my understanding is that it's an illegality, isn't it? Will you go back and address?
Oh, but that's why I say that at this moment, there's so many legal options available to us. And I'm assuring my team followers that the strongest and the best way to deal with this situation is what we are going to take. We are not leaving any stone unturned. We are going to meet him boot for boot. If he wants to litigate, we will drag this matter on to the fullest. I think that's what he wants. And we are sure he will be changed by the end of this month. If his decision is that he wants to continue enjoying the $6,500, I'm sorry for him. He will not continue enjoying that money. He's out. Whether litigation or not, he's out. I can assure you.
But the fact, you see, but the fact of the matter is that if you drag this, like you say, to its logical conclusion, he will not go. No, he will continue being the NC boss.
Other normalizations, when they have had extensions, whether they have not been changed. You think that if we are going to litigate, it's only about him. He himself will be sued left, right, center. What are you talking about?
Well, let me describe a scenario. Let me describe a scenario. Let me describe a scenario to you. So you appeal, and we assuming that your appeal is unsuccessful. And I'm coming.
It's conjecture.
Of course. That's what I'm saying. That I'm describing a scenario. You appeal. We assume that your appeal is unsuccessful.
Which appeal are you talking about?
The appeal you are going to
this
make,
particular appeal.
Yeah.
Which there are so many.
The appeal on that disqualification of Osei Palmer.
No, I'm saying that Palmer is no stranger to litigation. Have you forgotten?
I understand that, but I'm coming.
And I'm
so
saying to you that relax.
Gary made
Relax.
a point. I want you to understand me so that you answer the question for the benefit of our listeners. Gary made a point that if you drag this, Dr. Amoah stays. For instance, if you appeal,
Dr. Amoah will not stay. I can assure you.
Okay.
Have me on record. He will not stay because his intention is to stay, and we will make sure he doesn't stay. And I'm telling you that in Cameroon and other parts of the world where normalization has been extended, people have been changed. And we will prove it to FIFA that he's enjoying the $6,500 and therefore he doesn't want to go. And these are reasons for saying that he has been provoking us for the past 1 month and we have let it go. Enough is enough.
Ebuapia, campaign strategist for Team Palmer, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Right, so that's an extended version of what you heard on Top Story. I had a sense that what we heard on Top Story was just a tip of the iceberg, and here you have heard it. I mean, among other things, he's described Dr. Kofi Amoah, the head of the Normalization Committee, as somebody who is suffering from dementia, seems to be suffering from dementia. He also described, what was rat? What was it again?
A brat, a sports brat.
A sport brat. Pampered, overindulged. Yeah, strong words.
I mean, it's well within his right. It's interesting how Dr. Amoah is going to respond to these attacks or these allegations that have been made. But what I find interesting is that, look, and that's a question I put to him. You sit down and allow the man to go on a certain trajectory, with borders on illegalities, according to what you're saying.
Yeah.
You say nothing. You don't challenge him. Nobody says anything. And then it gets to a point where it affects you directly.
Yeah.
Now you want the world to go back to the things that you didn't challenge. And that's why I asked him again. Once you are done with this appeal, will you go back and rectify, those situations? Because you see, if you are supposed to have gone through Congress of the Ghana Football Association and didn't do that, that's an illegality. It cannot be allowed to stand. Look, we cannot joke with this process. This is a serious process. We are talking about reforming Ghana football.
This is probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Absolutely. And so, if things have been done in a particular way, the NC came in also to check the activities of the football people. And if you allow the NC to misconduct themselves, as he's saying, how do you expect the people of Ghana to have confidence in the work being done by the NC in collaboration with you, the football people yourselves?
Yeah.
For the purpose of football returning, you allow a supposed illegality to stand. And then finally, when it hits you hard, directly, that is when you are responding.
Right.
I don't think that is right.
I have an answer for that.
Oh.
Now, the answer is that, you remember when we went for the Extraordinary Congress, Hans?
Yeah.
That 20-minute break that they called for, where Randy Abbey rallied them and they went to. Before that 20-minute break, you remember what they wanted to do? They wanted to drag the situation and meet the NC pound for pound, boot for boot. But what they went to say in their caucus, and as we know, it wasn't said publicly, but what they went to discuss in their caucuses was that, look, let's just overlook these things, allow the NC to do what they want. Remember?
Yeah.
When the NC is done, overseas elections, and they go, we can now come back for another Congress.
A convenient compromise.
Yes, a convenient compromise. And that is what he's hinting at. That
I get that.
They have allowed the convenient compromise just because we all want football to come. When the process is done, they will come back and then do what they want to do for themselves as football people.
But you see...
And I understand your question.
I get that. You see, a lot of this borders on trust. Look.
Exactly.
We talk about... And I always mention it. One of... Probably the biggest, takeout from the announced documentary was that there was a chronic lack of integrity in Ghana football. And so if you are trying to reform it, and for me, it's just a matter of pure principle. An illegality is an illegality. You can compromise on everything, but not when an illegality is being committed. I'm not saying that is the case, but that's what he's alleging. And so if, for the purpose of regaining control of football, you'll allow an illegality to stand with the excuse that once you take control, you are going to rectify it. How am I supposed to trust that you are indeed going to rectify that illegality? How am I supposed to trust that once you have control of it, you yourself will not continue with that illegality? And that for me is at the heart of the issue. Look, it's going to be interesting the next year, and I hinted, I think about 3 weeks ago, that look, this process was never going to be smooth.
Yeah.
It was never ever going to be smooth, and we are not done. God forbid Palmer appeals and that appeal fails. We know the next step. It's probably going to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, probably going to the law court. probably getting an injunction. And that's what I was trying to describe to you, Bapia. If there's an injunction on the electoral process, the NC, to the best of my knowledge, continues with its job. Unless FIFA decides that they are going to take, Dr. Amoah or something that it appears Iwapia's, team wants.
Yeah.
So this process is not going to be smooth running. We just have to wait and see what happens with Palmer. But you see, it's a lesson. What I get is that things were not done properly. Yes, I mean, Palmer probably went back and rectified it. But moving forward, the law is the law. If the law says that you have to do A, B, C, just do it and don't have a problem. I'm not saying Palmer is guilty or not guilty, but I'm saying that something happened, at a certain time with regards to a certain transfer.
And we have to talk about that and educate listeners.
Exactly.
On what it is.
And it is something that, you see, it's only Palmer. I can tell you for a fact, look, when it comes to player transfers and player status in this country, Gary, I've played second division football and I know what I'm talking about.
It's a shambles.
Yes, I know what I'm talking about. You have a situation where a player wants to apply for a floating status and, the whole process is an absolute scam. I've experienced it. I have lived it. And I'm going to tell you this today. I play second division football with a different name altogether. Yes. My teammates knew me as Robert. And I'm telling you today, I play second division football with some weird name that I didn't even know. Why? Because
hi Robert.
Why? Because I was registered for a third division club in Tema.
Hi Robert.
Who are not paying me. And then when I had to move, they were holding out for a fee that the club I was moving to were not willing to pay. What did they do? They say apply for floating. The process was that you're supposed to apply for it. They were supposed to notify the other party. It was supposed to have been published in the newspapers and then a copy pasted at the FA Secretariat. I tell you, sometimes the other party is not even notified. Before you realize a player is a floating player and can sign for. These things go on, and these are the things that need to be checked. And I'm hoping that whoever comes up tops in this whole process, I've seen the policy documents and manifestos of some of these candidates. Brilliant ideas. Superb ideas. We had Mr. Ankama last week. Ankoma, I beg your pardon, last week here. And we talked about HET. Remember the question I put to him? How did he ensure that the players of a second division club were of the right age? You remember the answer?
Yeah.
And so my point is that this is deep. It goes deep when it comes to Ghana football. It's almost normal.
Yeah.
Look, what I'm describing to you. If we go in total, if we go deep, right from the Premier League to the third division, you are going to find a lot of players using identities that are not theirs to play football in this country.
Anyway.
And we need to deal with these things.
Let's go to the issue now.
Exactly.
This is Joy 99.7 FM. We are 23 minutes to 8 here on the Joy Fest Take. The big trending news today in Ghana football has been that Wilfred Osei Kweku, aka Palmer, has been disqualified from taking further part in the GFA presidential elections. And he was written to by the Ghana Football Association's normalization committee, who were acting as an election committee.
Absolutely.
And he was told that it was because of an infraction on an Article 33(5)(c), which is...
Okay, so let me read the decision and then I'll read that particular article. So, decision of the GFA Elections Committee. The Ghana Football Association Normalization Committee, acting as Elections Committee, regret to inform you that your application to contest for the position of the president of the GFA was unsuccessful. This was as a result of the adverse findings against you, namely, 1, breach of Article 33(5)(c) of the GFA General Regulations. 2, decision of the Ethics Committee dated the 13th of December 2017. It goes on to say that should you wish to appeal this decision, kindly submit to the Elections Committee in writing, supported by any document you wish to bring to our attention, on or before Tuesday, the 8th of October 2019 at 4 o'clock p.m. Yours faithfully, signed by Na Otofole Norte, Elections Committee. Now, I'll go and read the specific article that is being talked about here. Okay, so
it's important to note that Article 33(5)(c) is not of the new regulations, and as listeners will recall, the Extraordinary Congress of the FA, had new regulations, but this is being used against Osei Palmer is that of the old regulations.
Absolutely.
Yes, because it happened somewhere in
2017.
Yes.
Now, it reads 10% of all training and transfer fees in respect of external transfers shall be paid into a football development fund as follows. 5% shall be paid to the Ghana Football Association. 5% shall be paid to the Ghana League Clubs Association, GALCA. Where the player involved is a juvenile, GALCA's 5% share shall be paid to the National Juvenile Committee. So that is what.
So he's being accused of not making this payment.
Exactly, not meeting those financial obligations.
Yes.
And I understand is in respect of the transfer of Joseph Painter, if I'm correct.
Who is currently playing in Europe.
Exactly, in Spain. Really, really interesting. I've had a response, not official though. I've spoken to people who say that the issue came up at the ethics committee.
Yes.
I also understand that Palmer wasn't necessarily found guilty, and that is what I find problematic. Look, you're either guilty or you're not. But he was asked to render an apology, which he did.
No, this is a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Or at the time.
At the time.
Okay.
That's the understanding I have.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not official from the account, but speaking to people, that's what I gather. I'm not sure whether it was in writing or through which medium that he apologized. But I understand that he did render that apology. But again, it comes back to what I find problematic. If he wasn't guilty, what was he apologizing for? If he did, to the best of my knowledge, if you haven't done anything wrong, what are you apologizing for?
Yeah, because my understanding is also that about 3 days ago he wrote the apology.
Okay.
He had it in writing.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably from what I gather, because they were in power and all that, it was a verbal thing, and now he tendered it in writing to the normalization committee. So that is the reason why Palmer. When the decision came at first, at the time we did not know. The information we had was that there were many things that were looked at, in relation to Osei Palmer, including the indemnity thing that he said. Before or after we failed, the Black Stars failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup. He granted an interview where he said that we did not qualify because we did not, as it were, sort out referees.
Okay.
We did not, pay indemnity or classified payments to referees, which is a nice way of saying whatever it is. Yeah, and most of us thought that was the reason why, because we had heard that, but it turned out that this other technicality.
Okay. So,
is that
so there's a question that you put to Ibuapia in respect of whether he feels that the standards haven't been the same for the other candidates.
Yeah.
And I've also been thinking about it, because the other candidates with real issues, real questions to answer. I don't know how well they answered those questions. I don't know. Obviously, the elections committee were satisfied with those responses. But I, like a lot of other Ghanaians, I'm not convinced
that the 6 people who have been passed are all spotless, blameless, should pass the integrity checks.
If we are talking about integrity, and I made this point here
several times.
Look, if we're going to go really hard on integrity, a lot of these people have no business being involved in Ghana football going forward. And they know it. You understand me? Kurt has his famous Daniel Goza issue. And I don't know how he explained it then. You understand me? We are sitting here and, we are talking about the fact that, yes,
he explained it on the Joy Sports Link the last time he was here, last week.
It may be that Dreams FC is a limited liability company, but whose signature, who signed off on those deals?
Yeah, which is probably one of the defenses Mr. Palmer will put forward when he goes.
So if he didn't sign off on those deals, then cool. But if he did, we also know that George Free has issues from the Jamafe Commission recommendations. Okay. And here's where I take issues with this government. Because you see, if the government had been serious in implementing the recommendations made by the Jamafe Commission, we probably would have been singing a different tune, or maybe George Free would have been so far from this process, it wouldn't be an issue. But you can't go back and selectively implement the recommendations and use it to disqualify George Free.
Sure.
where there are several other recommendations that you are clearly, as a government or as a state, not prepared to implement. And we are talking about recommendations that was supposed to, to a large extent, also reform Ghana football to some extent.
I mean, that document was supposed to reform Ghana
Absolutely. And we know the president responds when it was put in by Countryman Songo.
Yeah.
That made the press session. Here we are. Here I am making reference to the document because George Efrie is mentioned in that document.
Said he shouldn't come near football, right?
And yet, he's going to be contesting as president of the Ghana Football Association.
Anyway, so that's the lowdown, the scoop on the presidential election. Hans, please open that story on myjoyonline.com so that we talk about a bit about the executive committee, who has gone through and all that. Now, for the GFA, Amanda Clinton has been passed. Nanaya Amponsa has also been passed. Fred Papo has been passed. George Ankuma Mensah has been passed as well. As you know, Osei Palmer did not pass. And who else am I missing? Again, George Efrie and Keto Kreku. So these 6 are going through. Throughout the entire process, the executive council for the Premier and for the Division 1, there are 2 others. Roy Arthur did not make it. Alhaji Fuseni did not make it. So all other names that you knew were going through have gone through. Only these 3, Osei Palmer, Roy Arthur, and Alhaji Fuseni, were not past fit to contest their various positions by the Normalization Committee's election committee as well. So, yeah, that's about it. I've pretty much summed it up. This is Joy 99.7 FM, and this is The First Take.
Let this moment pass you by. This is your time, you got to move. If you're ready or not, give it all that you got. Turn it up now, you got to
So yeah. After the football, we can now talk athletics. Hans, I mean, we were watching the action in the newsroom before coming on air. It's been pretty amazing. Before we talk about the depressing news of the Ghana relay teams, tell us a bit about your favorite athlete right now.
Oh, Mutaz Bashir.
Yeah.
A Qatari high jumper. He was the second best record, of all time. 43
jump of all time.
Exactly. It's brilliant, really. I think 2:43. Yes, I beg your pardon.
2 meters 43.
Exactly, yeah. 2 meters 43, and the world record is 2 meters 45.
Yeah.
And he's been absolutely fantastic tonight.
He's going on a head-to-head.
Exactly, tonight. And when I was leaving, he had cleared 2 meters 35. And had cleared another, high beyond 235 just before we left. And look, it's brilliant to watch. The home support is there, and he's been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And somebody has a question: where is our high jumper? And it took me back to the days at secondary school. And I always when it comes to athletics, I always make reference to our secondary school days because look, everybody who attended secondary school had that one person who potentially should be at this world championship. But what do we have?
Anyway, if you want to send us questions about the GFA elections and Palmer being disqualified and your thoughts on the other 6 going through, I know lots of you had issue with the fact that certain names went through. Let's know and let's debate the issues. On WhatsApp 0244 340 437, 0244 340 437. The Palmer camp are alleging a lot of things: selective justice, favoritism and all that. Let's know what you think of the GFA process. The election are slated for the 25th of October, by the way. And also the athletics, as we speak about it, you might have heard that the Ghana teams, the male and the female, or the men's and the women's relay teams, all did not get to the final. They did not do well. But you're talking about Bashim.
Yeah, Mutaz Bashim. So 2014, he makes that jump, 243, and then just as we hit the studios, he had cleared more than meters 35. Absolutely phenomenal. It gives us a sense of what is required at that level. Look, anything less than 230, and you should know that you cannot be winning medals at a world level. This evening has taught me one lesson, or has probably taught all of us a certain lesson, that there are levels to this game. Okay, there are serious levels to this game. I mean, Nigeria came second to Ghana at the Africa Games in the 4x100 meters, and they came last this evening.
Yeah.
It tells you that there are levels to this game, and I keep emphasizing it. You can be the African champion with a particular time, but when you go to the Worlds, you need to understand that when the Jamaicans are there, and even even Jamaica today, they are suffering without Usain Bolt.
I know.
You know, you can be the African champion. When you go to the Worlds, you must understand that the levels are different. I follow Mutaz Bashim on Facebook religiously, and I follow his training. I follow how he goes around the world competing.
Yeah, getting ready.
Exactly. And this is how champions are made. He has a backroom staff of 5 people. 5. Qatar invests in this guy. And I'm talking serious investment. We can continue to make the excuse about, we don't have the money and we don't have the resources and we don't have the infrastructure and all of it. But really, for how long? Throughout this World Championship, there's something I've kept echoing. We are just not serious as a country. It doesn't only apply in sports. Every face it. Look, take the Chinese.
The Chinese, I mean, you're watching them today.
Yeah.
100 meters 4x100, and they are racing.
They may
Short
not be
puts.
winning the medals today.
Oh, my goodness.
But they are not the Chinese of old. Yeah. And that's the point.
The Japanese today.
The Japanese as well have made it to the
finishing second in the heat.
Exactly.
Yeah, South Africa finished first.
And you see, when I talk about the Chinese, you and I will know that they are serious. Yeah. When they put their mind to something, they pursue it with all the seriousness. I mean, they are grooming kids as young as 3-4 years in gymnastics. Our 5-7-year-olds who have the potential to be gymnasts, Gary, we see them at the beaches performing all sort of stunts and taking coins. We see them all the time. On the streets of Accra, we see them. They are there. If anybody tells me Ghana cannot compete in gymnastics, I argue with the person, because look, they are there. We see them, all these kids performing backflips and twists and turns and all of that. Potentially, they can do it. The Chinese are recruiting them as young as 3 years old. We are here giving them coins. And China have set a target for the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
They say they want to win it by the year 2040. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't win it, I can tell you that by 2040,
semi-final or something,
we are here.
It'll be here we day.
We are here by 2040. What is our plan, really? So these boys have gone to the World Championship. They had wanted to qualify for the Olympic Games. They haven't been able to make it. What is the plan? Because you see, potential is there. Martha Bisa, where is Martha Bisa? Where is Martha Bisa? You talked about the World Junior Championship from about 5 years ago in the high jumps. I've forgotten his name.
Yeah. No, the guy who is competing with
Mutaz
Bashim, yes, right now.
Okay.
He's the World Junior Champion
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Where is Martha Bisa? Today, Martha Bisa should have been fighting for honors for Ghana. Where is Martha Bisa?
She's in Norfolk. She's winning Athlete of the Year.
People's politics and personal interests mean that the girl is not competing for Ghana now when she's supposed to be competing. We are talking a youth, gold medalist at the Olympic level. And here we are. How many years? It was in 2014, correct?
Yeah.
That's 5 years ago.
Nanjing.
Now, Martha Bisa should have been competing for the World Championship title in the 400 meters. We just saw the 400 meter hurdles.
Yeah.
An American girl, breaking the world record.
Having done silver.
Where is Martha Bisa? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why? And you see, sometimes I feel God sits up there, looks at us, and he feels sad. That if you are probably giving all this quality, this talent to Kazakhstan, they probably would have made more of it. Or any of the... We saw...
I don't think God is sad. God is...
Oh, you'll be sad.
No, he's used to it.
Believe me, he'll be very sad.
No, believe me, he's used to it.
Deep down, God will be sad.
No, listen.
If you like,
bro,
tell the callers to call in and tell you how God is feeling now.
Bro.
God will be very, very sad.
Bro, I got a relationship with the guy. You know what I mean?
Nimo Kafu.
I got
a
a relationship.
and you can confirm
with the
that
guy.
God is not sad.
He's not sad.
He's used to it.
He's used to it. It's GH baby.
How is this? Who did this to us?
It's GH baby.
For how long?
So let's give the news. I mean, so it started with the ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they raced.
eighth.
They came in eighth.
Yes.
How many people? How many teams raced? Hans, don't laugh. How many teams? Look, we are reporting.
Okay, they came in last.
So how many people? So it was 8/8.
Yes.
But you see, 8/8, Yanka 100%.
No, there's 0%.
0%.
There's a reverse.
Okay.
Yes. So
they
came in 8th.
Yeah, but
into bracket last. If you are, in case you are one, you are not too clear what the 8th
and I like to
they came in last.
Paint something to listeners. An hour ago, or an hour after the race, or 30 minutes after the race, I was on Twitter, and you know our team is made up of Hall Haluti, who ran the anchor, right?
Yeah.
Persis, Williams Mensah, Gema Champong, and Flinks in Japan. Now, one of the Ghanaian websites runs a story and headlines it.
Ghana fails.
No, relay team fails
yeah.
to make the final. And Gema Champong, who ran one of the slowest legs in the quartet, she sees the tweet and she bore that why has the website written that they have failed to make the finals?
Okay.
And she's saying that the website should have written that despite having no training at all this year.
So that was what I was coming to.
Yes, despite having no training at all, they have run their season's best time.
Okay.
Which is fair.
Let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of perspectives.
It's
the perspective exactly the perspective of an athlete, is different from that of pundits and fans. She knows what she's getting, and she knows damn well that from what she's getting, this is the best she can do, and you can't blame her.
And she mentioned also that Ghana is 11th in the world in terms of times.
Okay,
yeah,
and you can't blame her.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to the World Championship with the target being that we simply want to qualify for the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
we're not going there to compete for medals.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned that we were going to the World Championship for medal. Not Joseph Paul-Amoah, not the quartet nobody. for the men and the women. Nobody mentioned that they were going to win medals. I think it's a sad case, really.
But it's a realistic case.
It is, but it's a sad case.
Yeah.
It's a sad reality.
Yeah.
Let me put it, properly. It's a very sad reality that look, Ghana is going to a competition and we are not even
in the relays with our history
talking about going to win a medal. And see, what even makes me sad, and I come back to the same point, it's not as if we are not blessed with talent. That for me is fundamental. It's not as if we are not blessed with the talent too. We are blessed with so much talent and we do very little with it. For us, it's about doing the barest minimum. The barest minimum will be to go there and qualify for the Olympic Games. But I kept wondering, so these guys want to qualify for the Olympic Games and go and do what exactly?
Oh, I mean medal at the Olympic Games.
You are not talking about medals at the World Championship, but you want to talk about medals at the Olympic Games?
Well, a year is a long time.
Gary,
you could get ready.
It's like saying you're not talking about going to win the Africa Cup of Nations and then you also qualify for the World Cup and say, I'm going to win the World Cup. Are you joking? Who does that? We can't keep doing this to it. Look, we've gone past where you go and say, oh, not to the athletes. I'm not talking to the athletes. I'm talking about handlers of the sport in this country. We've gone past the point where it's about going to do season's best and personal best and national record and stuff like that. We've gone past it. I think we've lowered the standards for these people. When they return, we need to ask serious questions, not of the athletes. It's not the fault of the athletes at all. The Chinese are not relying on the United States University to train the athletes.
Yeah.
Not even the Jamaicans are doing that. The Japanese are certainly not doing that. So for us, until some sprinter pops up, here in Ghana and gains
a scholarship
and goes to the United States, we cannot train any athlete on our own. Really? It's 2019. And we keep making these excuses. The GAA constantly is fighting for scholarship for Ghanaian athletes. Why? Because they know that they are not prepared. Not that they can't train them. They are not prepared to train them. And then when you speak, and we are under-resourced and government is not giving us... Look, those are lame excuses. Part of your job as a leader of a federation, a sports federation, is to mobilize funds. Sometimes we need to put it to them. You knew that these challenges were there. In their manifestos, when they won those positions, the kind of things they say. And then, when they get a position, it's about, government didn't give us this, and government didn't give us... You knew well before that government was not going to give you a dime. And yet you wanted a position.
0244340437 on WhatsApp. That's our line. Let's know what you think of what's been happening at the World Athletics Championships. I mean, we are on day 8, now, and it's been pretty dope, I must say. Some of the action, some of the drama, some of the storylines. This message is from Kofi Che inside Tantra's Yellow House. He says, "No more P for P, Chale. Anyway, I'm for Amanda Clinton. I'm Amanda Clinton for president now." Kofi Che inside. So we'd like to hear your thoughts on 0244340437 on WhatsApp or Telegram. Now, the other issue,
small matter,
as I like to say, was it's been a black week for sports. Yeah, for
top black, left, right, center.
The last 10 days, we've been bloodied. Anything we've touched has not turned to gold. It's been pretty difficult.
It's turned into a frog.
The Wafu has been ongoing as well in Senegal. And there to Hans, the Wafu, we've not been doing great. But today, the Black Queens and Bill Leshan was there for us. They are playing a qualifier for the Olympics, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you went to watch that game.
Yes.
You were not happy?
Not at all. I was frustrated because these females can't find the net. The ladies, they can't find the net. How? Milot, that's female Milot, that striker, that lady, that Milot striker. They should bench her.
Her name is Milot Pokwa.
They should bench her. They should really bench her because she lacks composure. Totally lacks composure. I remember one part in the first half where the goalkeeper...
You've not said who they were playing against. Kenya, yes.
Yes. Where the goalkeeper of Kenya had the ball, was trying to distribute the ball and mistakenly gave it to Milot. Milot, finish! Milot said, no, I'll play straight.
Hold it. So you mean the goalkeeper...
Played it straight at her.
Said Milot J.
Jina Shame.
J.
And Milot said what?
No.
Also G.
Also G. Saji.
Oh, Charlie. That's a sad
it's atrocious.
Yeah.
It's really atrocious. They have now put made the work very difficult for them because they'll go to Kenya on Tuesday.
Good. You see, over the last few matches involving Ghanaian national teams, that has been the story. We mess up at home.
We
started with the
Meteors. They were able to redeem themselves in Algeria.
Exactly. We had the Black Stars B as well.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Look, and when you criticize them, people will say, "Oh, they will go and do that." For how long are we going to be doing this? And I always say, you are always urging fans to come to the stadium to fill the stadium and watch the national teams, and then they go, and then the performances drop with the excuse that you are going to go away from home and then do the job. So fans in Ghana don't deserve proper football and good results. Is that it?
Anyway, how many people are at the stadium today? The last women's game you attended.
Yeah.
Still, the Queens. The Queens?
Yeah.
They played Gabon.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I mean the crowd was quite alright. Was it better than today?
It was a little better than today, but the result was much worse than what I saw in Gabon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the Black Queens will be going for the return leg in about 4 days.
Yes, on Tuesday in Kenya. They'll go to Kenya on Tuesday.
And to play that. Anyway, so that's about it for the Black Queens as well. What else has been on the agenda, Hans? Apart from the GFA.
I had Peter Zuenes.
The box.
I had Peter Zuenes talking about Mexican boxers and that we sit in this country and probably underrate Mexican boxers. And straight away I thought that he probably has no business being in his position. If that is the explanation he has for how Mexican boxers have been dominating Ghanaian boxers over the last few years. It's really sad that the man who is supposed to spearhead Ghana boxing thinks that we stand no chance of competing against Mexican boxers. Another thing he mentioned was that, and it was in relation to Patrick Alute, that the invitation came in late. And I just laughed. Patrick Alute was supposed to have been involved in a promotion here. It was supposed to be the headline act for a Kabik promotion. The invitation comes and Kabik decides to cancel that promotion, even though he came in late, and haul him, down to Mexico to go do that fight against Jaime Munguia. Look, for starters, even if he had 1 year preparation, he was going in as a massive underdog. Not to talk of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Peter Zuenes knew this. The GBA is supposed to sanction whatever fight a Ghanaian boxer is supposed to be involved in. If you thought that the boxer wasn't going to get enough preparation, why did you sanction it? It's simple.
Yeah.
Because part of his job is to protect the Ghanaian boxing legacy. Part of his job is to be able to say that, look, you are not in a good physical condition to go out there and compete. I'm not even talking about winning, but compete. And so I cannot, on the base of principle, sanction this fight. But you sanction it nonetheless, even though you knew it was late. And then you come back and tell us that apart from Azuma Nelson, who had a way of going around Mexican boxers, our boxers can't really cut it against Mexican boxers. Because what? They are from Jupiter. Or they are from where? They have 4 hands.
Or 4 heads.
Sometimes some of the explanations that we get for some of our failures, and especially from people in authority, I just cannot believe it. Maxwell Ewoku goes to Mexico against Miguel Bechelt. They didn't put up a fight. He loses. I think it was in the second round or so. Gilberto Ramirez pummeled our own Habib Ahmed. He even did well. I think he went 8 rounds or so. He did well, quite well. We had our own Isaac Dogbe. No. He loses, and whoever advised Dogbe to go straight into a rematch against Navarrete, in the years ahead, should really lie down and quite solemnly reflect on that decision that was made. Back-to-back crushing defeat in a manner that, look, Dogbe may probably not be the same again because of those defeats. He may never, and I'm saying he may.
Yeah.
He may never rise to the top again. Because you see, in those 2 fights, the clarity was that he probably didn't belong to the top echelons of the super bantamweight division. But we are still praying and hoping, as we do in this country. We are praying, we are hoping that he returns to the top. I've mentioned Patrick Alote. There is a striking image of Patrick Alote.
On the internet,
yes, I have it. If I can show it to you.
I saw it as well.
Good. Taking cover in a corner. And Jaime Munguia standing over him.
I mean, the English word is cowering. Yes.
And that was the moment the fight was stopped. That image is a blot, not only on Patrick Alote's credentials as a boxer, but on Ghana boxing as a whole. A Ghanaian boxer shouldn't be doing that.
No, but he went alone.
It wouldn't have made a difference
he went alone.
Gary, it wouldn't have made a difference if he had gone with all the coaches in Ghana. And I keep making that point. It wouldn't have made a difference if he had gone with all the boxing coaches in this country. It wouldn't have made a difference. Just last weekend, Ebenezer Tete, Ghanaian heavyweight boxer, WBO African heavyweight champion, 19-0. You know 19-0?
Yeah.
19 fights, no defeat. 16 of the 19 by way of knockout. 3 of the 16 came inside the 3rd round. Daniel Dubois in the UK for the Commonwealth heavyweight title. Round 1. Round 1, Gary, round 1. I can bet my last coin he lasts longer in bed than he did in that fight. Round 1. Boxing is 3 minutes per round. He didn't last 3 minutes in the ring against Daniel Dubois. And I emphasize, I say it again. In bed, he lasts more than 3 minutes.
Come and remove your mouth.
And it makes you wonder who he fought in those 19 fights. I've been here analyzing boxing with Teddy Papo, and he mentions it that, look, in this country, they stage fights behind people's bathrooms.
And declared
just to swell up the numbers for certain boxers and get them up the rankings so that they can get. Let me tell you bluntly what is happening in Ghana boxing currently. 90% of the boxers that we have are not thinking about winning world titles. They don't want to be world champions. For them, it's simple. Let me get myself up the rankings, get a fight outside, go get some maybe $50,000 or 40,000 pounds, come home, done.
Build a self-contained.
They are done. We have a collection of boxers who are unambitious, backed by greedy promoters, who are pushing this agenda because for them, they also want to hush, recoup their investment, and they are done with it. How?
Interesting stuff.
People like Azuma Nelson, Ikote, Alfred Kobakote, people have laid down their lives and built a legacy for Ghana boxing, and we have boxers today who go and pull on those legacies. Ghanaian boxers don't inspire fear anymore. We all know it. Those times you hear commentators mention Bukom
with fear and
respect
and trembling. I know.
We don't command that respect in world boxing anymore.
Anyway, a couple of comments coming in on the various things we've spoken about. 0244 340 437. There's a bit of music coming up, so we'll close a bit early today. This one says, good evening, Gary. We are so blessed with talent, especially in the track and field. My own cousin was a female record holder in all the sprint events in the central region, and now she's a banker. Shake my head, Ghana. People she had clearly beaten were being taken out of the country for scholarships and whatnot. It's very sad. We don't have leaders. We have rather misleaders. Shem from Pram. Hans Pa, calm down your BP. This one is from Godwin in North Carnation. He says, your minister is going around doing regional sports centers when your old stadia are in shambles. He recently went to Kumasi Stadium. I recently went to Kumasi Stadium and nearly wept for Mother Ghana. 0244 340 437 as well. So it's been an interesting discussion we've had. I mean, we'll be leaving you and then we take over, or we leave you with the music right now. Hans, any final words before we leave? Not much to talk about.
Well, I mean, I think that our campaign is done at the World Championships.
Yeah, we are done. It's the 8th.
We are.
So we have 2 days more.
Yeah, we are going to have the same conversation over and over again. It's a conversation we've had over the years.
Yeah. But you see, Ghana athletics fell into a really, really bad 10-year period, And the last 4 years, as bad as it's been, has been, if it were a graph, you are seeing the ticking up the graph. True or false? It's true.
True, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, with our performance at the Africa Games.
From 3 years ago-ish. With this generation of the Flinkses and the Seans and the, it's been...
the challenge with that?
Yeah.
They appear to be peaking, but never actually peak.
Yes, I know. My colleague Justin talks about it all the time.
I'm hoping that this time we are not just going to talk.
Actually, it's plateauing. That is the word.
Okay.
They seem to be peaking, but they're actually plateauing.
Joseph Amor will be at the Olympic Games, correct?
Yes, it looks like he'll be.
I'm just hoping that we are going to give him all the resources he needs to stand in good stead, to go out there and mount a proper. It's difficult. It's not easy. If you look at the times the Jamaicans and the Christian Colemans are posting, it's difficult. But he looks like a real prospect. And you see, it comes back to something we've always been saying.
Sure.
Let's fund the sports and the athletes who are truly, really have a realistic, doing well. Those that are not doing well, let them find their own funding, compete and make a case for funding, because we have limited resources. I've always been saying that, look, if you are going to spend 50 and come back with nothing, don't spend that 50. If you require 100 and you have 50, but the 50 will not give you anything, hold on to that 50. Find 50 and add it to it, get the 100 and go and get something and come. That makes more sense. Realistically, if we look at how much we would have spent at the World Championship, what would we have gained? Really, what really would he have gained? We only would have gained Joseph Amoah qualifying for the Olympic Games. That's it. It's okay. I don't want to be too critical of the athletes.
No.
My fire is on the handlers of the various sporting disciplines. Part of your job is to mobilize funds. Part of your job even is to build infrastructure. We cannot always be relying on government. If the Ghana Athletics Association, by their own accord, okay, in this day and age, 2019, have built even one tartan track somewhere in some bush, okay, and they come and tell us, look, we have money to build tartan tracks. Let government come in and build changing rooms and do this and do that and do that. We will see that you are forward thinking. Yeah. But at the moment, there is no plan. We come back the same conversation. Let the conversation change from doing season best and personal best to going out there to challenge for honors. We also deserve medals. Abba!
So, interestingly, before the team left Ghana and some of the athletes were locally based, I mean, Benjamin Azamanti is a level 300 students.
Of the University of Ghana.
Yeah. Benjamin ran the anchor leg tonight, in a 4x100. He's a really sharp guy. Meanwhile, the University of Ghana will be having their inter-halls. And it's going to be a big deal because they have some really good athletes. It's on the 16th of October. Please mark that date down. Inter-halls this year, University of Ghana will be really, really, really keenly contested and will be covering it. So Azamanti, we followed him, George and I, and Ho Haluti before they left Ghana. And when George went to Elwak and filmed it and brought it, I joined him later at the University of Ghana. Yeah. Charlie, when I saw the footage of Elwak, I think the word the English uses an eyesore. It's black. That's Elwak. And yesterday was when we aired it. We debated until the last minute whether we should even air it.
Yeah.
Because George and Ho Haluti were standing on the tracks.
The trucks.
But
I think everybody knows the state of the Elwak track.
Man, it was
it's a non-issue.
I saw. Meanwhile, when we went to the University of Ghana, I know they are sprucing up the place, and that place looked really good. That's because they are sorting it out. But when it's done, after a year, what would it look like?
Maintenance.
Charlie, maintenance.
Finally, Gary, let me wish Wilfred Palmer all the best in his appeal.
In his appeal, yeah.
I hope he succeeds, and I hope that going forward, lessons will be learned. Okay, that things should be done properly. I'm not impugning that he was guilty, but I'm saying that something may have gone wrong and it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
And also, I'm hoping that the Wapia and his team will take on Dr. Kofi Amon on those allegations.
Yeah.
If an illegality has been committed, get it rectified. Let's not move forward in this, reform process with an illegality being committed. That is not how things are supposed to be done. If you feel genuinely that arbitrarily insertions have been made into the FA statutes, challenge it. It's pure. It's on the base of principle. Just challenge. Don't say because we want football to return, we want to regain control of football, we allow this one to. Don't compromise on legalities. Compromise on everything. But when an illegality, okay, in relation to the statute that is going to guide your activities, you have to challenge it.
Nice one. So also we know that this weekend it's a big sporting weekend. You can follow us on our various platforms, myjoyonline.com, and also Hans's program tomorrow afternoon. What is happening is that the team will be in Sunyani. I'll be in Sunyani myself tomorrow because we are giving the candidates, all of them, equal coverage.
Absolutely.
So I'll be in Sunyani for George Frie's manifesto launch. Palmer called this policy documents. Keto Kreku called this manifesto launch as well. Fred Papo will be doing his next week Thursday, 10th, at the AMA Auditorium in Accra. He is also launching his own on the 10th. So tomorrow will be in Sunyani, and you can listen to the Joy Sports Link. We'll be bringing you all the coverage on social media, what he's going to do, and all of that. And all
of
that.
Is that Palmer's own also policy document?
Policy document.
Charlie, I have to attend this church. His prophet is damn good.
He's good,
Charlie. Is everybody's a manifesto?
Yeah, it's a policy document.
He said I haven't passed through the vetting process, so it's a policy document.
It's a policy document.
And now see what has happened.
Yeah.
His prophet is really good.
His prophet is really good. Anyway, last comment before we go. This one is from Kwame Boateng. Says, loving hands, and the submission opening fire as well. Many thanks for your time. Next week we'll be here, hopefully with a full house. We wanted to get George on the line, but he's inside the Khalifa International Stadium, where the athletics are still ongoing. The 400 meters are on. If you want to watch it, it's on TV, it's on GTV Sports Plus and all that. You can catch it. Look, the athletics is really, really good. It's really, really thrilling. I mean, the Kenyans, we saw Kipruto doing what Kipruto
3,000 meters to
chase.
Yeah.
Kipruto. Ah, man, love the guy. And all those other things, the high jump. I'm yet to see what's going to happen.
Ghana will win medals at the next World Championships. So.
Yeah. Right. DJ Black is at the Labadi Beach Hotel to bring us music from now until 12 on the Weekend Warmer. I'm Gary Al Smith, and this has been the first take from the Joy Sports team. Good night.